Hannytime. A daily look at sports from our resident historian. Your sports break during your lunch break. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. Here's Charles Hanagriff.
And we welcome you into Hannytime, Tuesday edition, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hanagriff and my man Mario Jerez. I'm so impressed you made it to work today. I'm going to tell you why in a second. Jacob Beck also with us today. I'm impressed that Mario made it in today. I was expecting him to be in total mourning today because the Lakers are out of the playoffs.
You thought.
I really didn't think. I thought, you might like cover up the windows, pull a blanket over your head. Just, hey, man, this is terrible. What an awful day. Actually, you're smiling. So I'm going to assume that you think the Lakers losing is a good thing.
Yes, and I think Miami winning tonight is also a good thing.
Yeah. I don't have a strong rooting interest in the other one, other than if you've watched this series and you don't have any allegiance to either team, and you've watched how the Heat have played led by Jimmy Butler and Eric Spoelstra, and you've watched the Celtics play and completely quit on the game in Game 3, I think Miami's easier to root for. That's me, okay? I have no allegiance to the Miami Heat at all, but when Jimmy Butler goes out to play basketball, I like watching because I know I'm going to get everything that guy got every time.
Yep, and the role players, too. They're making a big deal.
Yeah, well, there's a culture there.
Exactly.
I called them the Baltimore Ravens of the NBA. The Ravens have that kind of culture where they have great players, but, for the most part, it's not the overshadowing superstar. It's more about the organization. The quarterback just found that out, okay? You're not bigger than the organization. The quarterback's a former MVP. So Miami's a lot like that. Dwayne Wade was the man there for a long, long time, but it was always within a culture. It was never about, okay, well, it's all about me, and you're never bringing anybody in other than me. I'm not going to listen to the coach. I'm going to fire the coach. I'm going to run the GM out. It's not like that in Miami. So, yes, they're very easy to root for. All right, this is the first day of the Southeastern Conference Tournament and many other tournaments around the country. South Carolina is putting the finishing touches on the first win of the tournament. First of all, big win for the tournament. I think it's pretty dark there right now, but I think they're going to get the first game in with no rain, okay? Any game you get in Hoover, Alabama, the SEC tournament in May is a victory for the league. You know how they talk about those drought conditions that they have sometimes out west? I always just say, schedule the Southeastern Conference baseball tournament there. I promise you, it'll start raining. 9-0, South Carolina leading Georgia with one out in the ninth. This is going to put the Bulldog season to an end and probably the Scott Strickland coaching tenure to rest at Georgia after 9 years and only 3 trips to the NCAA tournament. Strickland, who had a very promising career at Kent State that moved him into this job, simply has not produced enough postseason wins. They have never been to a super regional in his tenure. They have no chance to make the NCAA tournament unless they were to win the SEC tournament, which is not going to happen. So they're going to wrap this dude up here in about 2 more outs, and LSU is going to play South Carolina tomorrow. South Carolina through James Hicks, one of their bullpen guys today. They have been riddled with injuries, so who LSU might see tomorrow is up for debate. We're going to talk to Leah Vann. She's the LSU beat writer for The Advocate. She is in Hoover. LSU had their morning practice session cut short because, wait for it, it was raining, of course. But before all of that happened, Jay Johnson talked about what he wanted to get accomplished in this SEC tournament to prepare LSU for the regionals.
Playoff baseball, it's about executing the game in the right way on the game that's in front of you and then moving on to the next one. And so it's a good exercise in that. One of the reasons I like to play a preseason tournament is for that very reason, because the NCAA tournament, at least the first round, and in the Omaha round, you're not playing the same team 3 days in a row. You're playing a different team each day. So, obviously getting that experience in Round Rock will be helpful. We played a tournament weekend non-conference at Alex Box, which that's what we'll be doing next week. and then obviously this SEC tournament. And I think all those things can be helpful as we move forward.
Most interested in what they get out of pitchers not named Skeens. And, Ty Floyd has pitched really well in the last, I would say, most of the last month. There's been some rough spots like the fourth inning at Auburn, but for the most part, for the last 4 weeks, Ty Floyd has shown up pretty well. He is most likely, the pitching plans are closely guarded. They treat it almost like football with kind of the secrecy to it. That's fine. Leaves us more time to speculate, and we can have some fun with that. But Floyd probably on Friday, as long as LSU wins one of the first 2 games. Skeens on Thursday, which leads to the question, which is who pitches tomorrow. We talked about this on the podcast yesterday. Baseball at the Box presented by Napa. Could be Riley Cooper, could be Thatcher Hurd, could be somebody else, but one of those 2 guys is probably not a bad guess, and a decent chance that they'll both pitch regardless of who starts and who finishes. So what's really at stake here in the SEC tournament with games today? We told you that this game with South Carolina and Georgia is going to do 2 things. It's going to eliminate Georgia. It's probably going to cost Scott Strickland his job. What does this mean for South Carolina? Well, South Carolina is right there on that bubble. As recently as, I say, the end of March, South Carolina looked like the best team in the country. And then injuries just crushed them. Now, the RPI is still there at 6, but the conference record is 16-13 going in. It'll be 17-13 now that game has gone final. So South Carolina has officially eliminated Georgia. 17-13. Does that get them a host site? Probably not. But if you throw in a game against LSU and you throw in maybe another win somewhere along the line, and South Carolina could play themselves in, the RPI is in their favor. Just the conference record is a little bit lacking, and yeah, they're also in a bind because they are in a situation where there's a lot of SEC teams that have very similar resumes. Okay, Kentucky's conference record is similar, but their RPI is higher. The 4 teams that figure to be top 8 national seeds out of the SEC, Arkansas, LSU, Florida, and Vanderbilt, all have either better conference records, better RPIs, or both than South Carolina. But it doesn't mean the Gamecocks can't play themselves in. Right now they are projected as a number 2 seed, but that could be changing. Their RPI is 6. What else is on the line today? Texas A&M and Tennessee is the next game. Texas A&M is playing for their tournament life. RPI of 34 entering today, but a losing SEC record of 14-16. In my opinion, A&M cannot lose today and get into the NCAAs despite an RPI that is well inside what we would consider the bubble. With a losing conference record, you're right there on that bubble, and I don't think you get in if you lose today. Now, if you win today and split, maybe split a couple games, you get at least 1 win. You go 1-2. I think they're probably on the right side, but they can't lose to Tennessee today. What is Tennessee playing for? Well, at one time, back in the preseason, Tennessee was looking to run it back from one of the best records ever in college baseball. But their RPI is 16 right now, has them on the outside, I think, of hosting in the first round because of the conference record, again, at 16-14. But I think Tennessee could very easily play themselves into a host site. Their resume is almost identical to Alabama's. So to me, Tennessee and Alabama they're fighting for the same thing. Tennessee has a 16 RPI. Alabama has a 12 RPI. Tennessee finished 38-18. Alabama finished 38-17. Tennessee has 16 conference division quad 1 wins. Let me try to not do this too fast. Trying to get as much information in as possible. I should slow my fire down here a little bit. Alabama has 16 as well. So you've got, their strength of schedules are not all that dissimilar. There's a slight edge to Alabama there. And so right now, D1 Baseball has got Alabama in as a host site, not as a top 8, but as a host site, and has Tennessee out. So that's one of the things that is very much on the line here at the SEC tournament for those two teams. So Alabama plays Kentucky. Kentucky, if they were to win the SEC tournament, I think they would make a strong case to punch themselves into that top 8 national seed. And they're the only team, I think, outside of the current projected top 8 that could get in with what they do in the SEC tournament. You look at the RPIs, okay? Again, your top 11, 8 of them are what I would consider the very strong locks right now to be the top 8 national seeds. The 3 that are not, Kentucky at 2, South Carolina at 6, Indiana State at 10. Indiana State's not going to get one. They've got 2 Q1 wins. So that leaves South Carolina and Kentucky's RPI is superior. Right now, Kentucky's a host site. They're not a top 8 national seed. A deep run in Hoover could change that. And then Missouri and Auburn, I don't know that Auburn's RPI is fine at 15, but their total and their conference wins at 17 are good. Their overall record is 33-19-1, so they're 4 or 5 victories behind teams like Tennessee and Alabama. It would probably take a run all the way to the finals for Auburn to seriously be in contention for a top 8, but I think that they're in really good shape to host. So as long as they don't lose today and have a bunch of screwy things happen, I think they'll be all right. And Missouri's pretty much playing out the string. They're 10-20 in the league, so they would have to win the tournament to move on. That's what's on the line today in day 1 of the Southeastern Conference tournament, which is a single elimination day. Tomorrow they go to double elimination. They stay in double elimination on Thursday, and then they get into single elimination in the weekend in what is one of the more convoluted tournament brackets that you will ever see, and hopefully has only one more year left of its existence after this one. There are strong indications, I am happy to tell you, that after Oklahoma and Texas get in the league, that the SEC tournament will go to the pod system. So let's hope for that, because this is hard to follow. It's hard to follow when you go down and tell your traffic managers. That's the people that do all the scheduling around here. They schedule every on-air event. They schedule every commercial. You go in and you say, okay, LSU's playing at 9:30 on Wednesday. Okay, what time they playing on Thursday? Well, they could play at this time or this time. Well, what happens if they play at this time? Well, then Friday they could play at this time or this time, or they might be out. And then you just see this, very nice lady that works here named Lisa Wilson just begin to weep because it creates an enormous amount of work for her. So hopefully they'll be changing the format. Take a break. We'll go to Hoover when we come back. Leah Van was at the workout yesterday. The workout this morning got cut short because of the rain. We'll get an update of what's going on there. That's next. This is Hannytime 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hannytime.
Infinity of Baton Rouge. Right now, they're offering you cash for your vehicle. It takes less than 15 minutes to get a value on your vehicle, and then they'll pay you cash for it if you want to sell it. If you want to trade in on another vehicle, we'll do that too. But there's no pressure to buy. If you just want to walk with the information, that's up to you. You get in the Certified Pre-Owned program. You're going to get enormous benefits from that year of prepaid maintenance, complimentary car when you bring your car in for service, and roadside assistance is included. Wonderful peace of mind to have, especially if you have older or younger drivers that or you're getting a vehicle for. Graduation presents, it makes a wonderful gift, doesn't it? You got somebody going off to college, a vehicle off the Certified Pre-Owned lot provides a lot of advantages for you. Transparency and pricing, I know that's going to be at the top of everybody's mind, and a very easy buying experience. All on Airline Highway at Acura and Infinity of Baton Rouge.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come on. Send my love down the
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front to back. Coming up on Wednesday's OTB. The SEC tournament rolls right along, and Hoover and LSU will kick things off bright and early. How do you think the Tigers will fare? How's their national seed looking? So coming out off the bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
This is Hannytime with Charles Hannegriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Okay, South Carolina eliminates Georgia in the first game of the SEC tournament. Second game, Tennessee and Texas A&M. Tennessee going to send out Seth Halverson, who 2-2 ERA of 3.96 in 20 appearances this season. He has only has no starts, excuse me. It'll be Troy Wansing, the left-hander for Texas A&M, 2-2 ERA of 6.05 in 11 starts this season. So here are your choices if you're, these teams having to play on day one. You can bring out a bullpen guy, which is what two of the teams have done, or you can bring back a starter who hasn't had much success because of injury or what have you, and that's what A&M and Georgia have done. Georgia starter this morning, Jaden Woods, hadn't started a game in about 5 or 6 weeks because of injury, although he was a highly touted prospect. Let's bring in Leah Van, beat writer for LSU from The Advocate. Leah, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
You give me a kind of a heads up on what LSU's schedule has been like so far. I know they had media availability yesterday, had to cut the workout this morning short, but you were able to visit with some players and also with Jay Johnson.
Yeah, we actually were supposed to also have an availability today at 11 a.m. at UAB, but I got there and the rain had kind of moved them all inside to lift weights, and so I think they canceled. I know they canceled the availability for us, so I have not seen the team yet, but yeah, it just sounds like they went straight from Athens here and kind of got things going with a 9:30 a.m. practice today, and this is a long period of rest. I mean, I think it's like 3 days, like the most rest they've had in maybe all season or in a while, which is probably very beneficial for them. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of their schedule so far. And we talked to Paul Skeens, we talked to Dylan Cruz, and, I mean, they both got Player of the Year in the SEC, so that's pretty cool. But nothing really earth-shattering was said.
The challenge with this SEC tournament for LSU is, yes, they want to win, but they don't want to win at all costs. So when you're handling your pitching, that means, you move Skeens back, you move Floyd back. That's the easy part. The hard part is, who do you want to guarantee work up at the front? And, he's got some choices tomorrow. He's playing it close to the vest. I know we're going to see multiple pitchers. You have an opinion on how LSU might pitch it tomorrow?
I just feel like they they trust Riley Cooper a lot, especially since he's pretty what is the word? He's pretty, not like reliable, but he's able to come in multiple times in a week. He recovers very quickly. We've seen him start before early in the season. And so I feel like Riley Cooper is an option. I think what we saw from Thatcher Hurd the other night, where he went 5 innings, and he's an option. Of course, they tried to start him early in the year too, and it didn't go so well. But given his performance the other night, like, Jay might want to reward him, or Jay might trust him since he has gone 5 innings. It's not like they've had very many pitchers who have gone 5 innings this year. Griffin Herring, I think, is also a pretty good option, but then at the same time, you probably want to keep him in the bullpen because he's one of your stronger members of the staff overall, and you might want to save him for later in the tournament and see what you can use against a depleted South Carolina team, going into this.
Let's talk about some of the other players that, it's rest versus rust kind of thing, especially when it comes to Gavin Dugas, who has had, it's pretty obvious that he has fought through the injuries. He's been out there. I know that they want to win, but any thought at all to maybe giving him a little bit of extra time to heal up before the regional?
I mean, I'm sure. Like, we haven't really gleaned that because Jay is all about, like, putting his best players in to win. And the thing with Gavin is, like, not only is he kind of the second baseman, he is starting second baseman, but also he gets on base pretty reliably. Although he has been hit by, like, so many pitches this season. Like, I hope he's sitting in an ice bath at some point. But yeah, I don't know if he wants to sacrifice that at bat. I mean, Ben DePolt is definitely a very good infielder, but I'm not sure as if, like, he's as reliable in the lineup. So, I think it just depends on. I really think it just depends because, again, if you add a couple more wins, maybe you go up a seed in the national seeding. But then again, you're already a national seed. You're already going to host. So really, what does it matter?
Yeah, and that's the real challenge for him. I know you got a chance to talk to Dylan Cruz yesterday. They made an interesting move up the lineup in the game against Georgia, where they put him in the leadoff spot last couple of days of that series. It kind of reminded me of the World Series in 2015 when Paul Mainieri put Alex Bregman in the leadoff spot for the last game, and he had 4 hits. It's going to get Cruz some more at bats. Did he say anything about moving up? I know I wouldn't call it a slump, but he was just kind of human there for a couple of weeks. He say anything about the move in the lineup?
No, I don't think we even asked, actually, which is our bad. No, but I know that I asked him in the beginning of the season. I can reference that. At the beginning of the season, he was leading off for a couple of games, and he said he really liked it because he gets more at-bats and thinks about it less, and that he likes to just get things started. Like, it kind of fires him up a little bit. So, he loves taking on that role, and, of course, it's Dylan. He loves taking on any role, right? But, yeah, and I asked Jay this weekend. I asked him, I was like, hey, why'd you move Dylan to the leadoff spot? He's like, yeah, I prefer to just not reveal that. And I was like, cool. So I really have no insight on that other than what I got from him at the beginning of the season.
There are days where Jay Johnson does his press conferences very much like a football coach. You can tell he was brought up in a football coach family. When he's holding some things back like that. Okay, get a chance to talk to Paul Skeens yesterday, who's having the best possible season that I think any pitcher could ever have. There is no sign of any weakness with this guy as far as fatigue. He's never had any control problems. He has kept the strikeout totals high. He's shouldered every lead of every series. I marvel at the guy, Leah, because the baseball guys, the game of baseball will just knock you down at some point. I mean, it's supposed to. And it just hasn't been that way with Skeens. He looks incredibly relaxed, ready to go into this postseason.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's hard to see anything wrong with him because there isn't. I think maybe we kind of missed out on the one time he was appearing full of human, which was against South Carolina when I think it was Ethan Petrie who hit the first home run off of Skeens all year, which by that time it was April. And so, I think there were a couple of hits that had kind of strung together in a row, and then all of a sudden we hit a rain delay. But usually when that does happen, Skeens comes back in the next inning and just retires the side on 3 strikeouts. So, whatever happens, he certainly makes up for it the next inning. And a lot of people have said it's his preparation. And, that really makes a lot of sense given the fact that he came from service academy and your life is preparation at a service academy, right? You are all about routine. And if that's something that you learn about Paul Skeens is routine is everything that he does and nothing changes. Everything is consistent, whether it's the way he addresses the media, whether it's the way that he goes about his business and, recovery and, preparing for a game. And so I think that level of consistency is something that has allowed him to also translate that on the mound. And you got to also give credit to Service Academy and his mental stability, right? His confidence, right? Because this man's been through basic training. He's been through harder, much worse than giving up a run in a baseball game. So, I think a lot of that really has something to do with the way Paul Skeens is and why he's so effective.
There was a brief moment there in the month of at the beginning of May where I was starting to worry that that rain out or rain delay at South Carolina might cost him the strikeout record because he had already struck out 8 in the 3 innings, and he would have certainly pitched at least 3 more innings and would have struck out another 6 to 8, in my opinion. And I thought, man, if he comes up short because of that, that would be terrible. But the way I look at it now, Leah, he's 38 strikeouts away from McDonald's record, which has stood since '89. If he pitches a game, basically this comes down to, is LSU going to win the regional? Because if he gets 3 starts, I believe he'll get the record. And if he only gets 2 starts and they were to lose in the regional, he's not going to get there. So I don't know how much he probably doesn't talk too much about the strikeout record, but that thing has stood for a long time, and the fact that it's been McDonald's record and it's an SEC record in addition to being an LSU record kind of makes it a big deal. So they make it to the Super Regionals. I think that that record's going to be his.
I agree with you. I think that, give him 3 or 4 more, probably 3 more starts, and he's got it. I don't think it's something that he's actively thinking about. We even asked him yesterday, we're like, well, what's it like to get SEC Pitcher of the Year? Because, you came to this new conference, which is a very, very competitive, the most competitive conference in college baseball. You won the highest honor in it. And he's like, that's really not my concern. All I really want to do is win a championship. And yeah, okay, he's here to also prove his draft stock and prove that he can throw his slider. And I think he's proven all of that. I think he's done everything he wants other than, win a championship, which is something left to be seen. But it is certainly fun to kind of add up the numbers every single game. You're like, oh, we're getting close.
Yeah, it's right there for him. Leah, do a good job of avoiding the rain as best you can. If it does come up there, it seems to happen every year at the SEC tournament. But 1 game in the books and 1 game, second game about to start on time. So hey, off to a good start. Thank you so much. We'll catch up with you in the regionals.
Sounds good.
Thanks
Bye.
a lot, Leah Vann from The Advocate. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Dwayne Colucci from Las Vegas. That collective sigh of relief you heard was from the bookmakers when the Lakers lost last night. See, Mario, you weren't the only one that was happy. This is Hannytime, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Join me for a Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. We'll have LSU's opponent for Wednesday's SEC tournament game, Fletcher Mackel from Saints OTAs, and Glenn West on the Tigers. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
This is Hannytime with Charles Hannegriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
About a little over 10 minutes away from the start of Texas A&M and Tennessee. It's dark skies, but no rain right now at the SEC tournament. Join us now from South Point in the Rampart in Las Vegas, our friend Dwayne Colucci, who could not be in a better mood. Am I right? Let me see. Let me give my checklist for the week. Lakers out, huge liability dodged. Golden Knights up 2-0, heading to play the Stars tonight to go up 3-0 in the series. And I'm just sure he had a winner in the Preakness because he always does. Colucci, you in a good mood right now?
I'm doing okay, Charlie. You know, definitely the Lakers going down was huge for all the books on the West Coast, basically, and, Nevada, that means. So, definitely it was good to see them go down. What a game, I'll be honest with you. And, it was a tale of two halves, basically. We saw what transpired there. The Joker is once again proven that he is the MVP and the best player on the court, regardless of who the opponent is. And, credit to LeBron James. You see a lot of these people out there bashing this poor guy. And the guy is, it's not like he's playing at age 23, and he's still trying and carry a team with very few complementary assets. But, definitely Denver outplayed them. Jamal Murray is such a feel-good story, too, Charlie. I mean, this guy averaged over 32 points in this series, and that's what I mean by complementary players. When Joker has him to lean on as well, and Anthony Davis is somewhat non-existent, and you guys in that neck of the woods know what the tale is with him, it becomes then a little lopsided. And, yeah, LeBron, hit the side of the backboard. I think that last play, you got to call a foul at home. I mean, you got two guys on him, definitely some body contact there. You could see Murray was getting on at the end of the play. So, I don't know what the refs were actually thinking there. You got to give LeBron the benefit of the doubt. One of the greatest players in the NBA, in NBA history, and you're not giving him a call at home. So, that's, again, where the referees are coming into play. But no discredit to Denver. You're talking about a team that was going to win that series, regardless of if it was in L.A. or it goes back to Denver. They outplayed the Lakers, and definitely the coaching staffs outcoached Darvin Ham, and that was a good play. Good point there from Malone.
I thought it was good help side defense. That Gordon came by and got two hands on the ball. But yeah, he gets that call a lot. I also don't. I know that it's when the Lakers go out, the narrative has to start about what's next for LeBron and what's next for the roster, and it's going to look really different next year one way or the other. And we're watching that as Pelicans fans because the Pelicans have a decided interest in some of these future draft choices and pick swaps. But I don't know how anybody could expect, I hope nobody did, a well-thought-out answer from LeBron James at the end of last night's game about what his future is going to be. I mean, can you really expect this? This guy's been in the league for 20 years. The game's been over for 20 minutes. I mean, does he have to give you yes, let me tell you how the rest of my life is going to go when, I'm 5 minutes out of the shower. I mean, I don't think that that's fair to the guy at all. I expect him to come back next year, but 20 minutes after the game, all you're going to get is exhaustion and frustration. I mean, I hope nobody was expecting him to lay out his entire future plans right there in the postgame.
Yeah, I agree, Charlie. And he sat there for pretty long and answered most of these questions. So, once again, a class act, a credit to LeBron. You can't make a decision like that. Everybody, jabbers about the rumors of playing with Bronny James, his son, and doing something like a Ken Griffey Sr., Jr. thing. It's so hard to make those decisions. So 20 minutes after a brutal loss where you really poured your heart out on the floor, I agree with you, Charlie. You can't give, a definitive answer on your future right there. And the landscape of the NBA has changed so much. Guys move around so quickly, and superstars go from team to team. Like you said, you're going to have a totally rebuilt Laker roster there, and you don't know if it could entice LeBron to stay or if they get really weak and he possibly entertains going somewhere else. 2 years left with a player option on the back end. So, we're going to see what LeBron does. But, I do think he does have a longing to possibly play with his son if his body could last that long. But it's difficult. You saw he started to wear down definitely in the fourth quarter. I saw signs of fatigue. And, if he could get maybe one of those other superstars that could take that pressure off down the stretch, maybe he'll be enticed to stay. But it's going to be a different Laker roster, like you said, Charlie. So, a lot of decisions left to be made.
Now, I threw him some bouquets on that, but let me say that this roster is his fault, okay? He was the one that had to have Anthony Davis. Would they be better off right now, not in 20, but right now? Was it worth the trade-off with Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart? I realize Lonzo Ball's career has been derailed because of injuries, and the draft choices that they had to give to New Orleans. Would they have been better off never signing Russell Westbrook, which was something that, or trading for Russell Westbrook, which was something that he wanted? LeBron, the GM, did a really nice job in Miami and Cleveland. LeBron, the GM in Los Angeles, has got them with a team that has significant amount of money over the salary cap and roster holes, all up and down the roster. And outside of this year, no other draft choices in the first round until 2029. So if that roster is not good enough, he's got to kind of look at himself. I mean, they did what they could. Rob Pelinka did what he could at the trade deadline and made some good moves in the short term. But the long-term roster, to me, that's on LeBron.
Yeah, definitely, Charlie. But, you got to take into consideration. Look at what we're saying. We're critiquing all these moves, and he was playing for the Western Conference Finals.
He was.
Had a chance to go to the finals. So, the landscape of the East was so easier to manipulate back then. They didn't have the powerhouse players that they have now, like the Embiids and, Tatum, Brown, Butler, those guys. It was easier for him to move around pieces with Miami and with Cleveland, in my opinion. Here on the West Coast, you have so many teams that are rising to the top now. Even teams like Sacramento are so improved to where they're pushing Golden State to the brink. Golden State is there. You have Joker there now. Unbelievable talent on the Western side. So, in hindsight, yes, they're going to be struggling in years to come, but there still could be moves that could be made. Anthony Davis, I think he was worth it. I mean, they got a chip in the bubble. I don't care what anybody says. It's still a title. Don't buy into all this crap. These are just these old school guys that can't get off that Jordan bandwagon. It's amazing, how they don't feel the game evolves and different aspects that, no, it isn't rougher to play in a bubble with a pandemic and just sitting there and seeing the same 10 people every night. No, it's harder. So I don't know. I think in hindsight, yes, it's going to hurt them in the long run, but they were playing for the Western Conference, Charlie, just like we said. So, they made an incredible run. What a turnaround. They went from a play-in all the way to this point. Credit to LeBron, but not as a GM. He's not there yet. We're going to see what team he runs in the future. Maybe a team in Las Vegas.
He's going to get the expansion team there. All right, tonight's game. Heat trying to close it out on the Celtics. They're a small favorite tonight. I see a 1.5. You tell me what you guys have got for the Heat to close out Boston tonight. Who you like?
Yeah, 1.5, Charlie. Total 217 at the Rampart and South Point. Definitely going to be tough on the Celtics. They've disappeared. I can't believe it. And it just shows you the difference in coaching. I think Udoka's a way better coach than Mazzola. And, you can see it playing out. Eric Spoelstra is the genius. Jimmy Butler is playoff Jimmy. Unbelievable. They have so much talent on that roster. Even Kyle Lowry is chipping in. Kevin Love, these guys are hitting wild three-pointers from all over the place. And you complement that with Adebayo and those guys. They're just a fabulous, fabulous team. It's going to be difficult for the Celtics. But, they got to win one, you would think. I just can't understand how this team just disappeared after beating the 76ers. The 76ers now are beating themselves in the head because they just can't understand how they blew that Game 6. That was such a pivotal game. And I believe in the back of their minds, they're feeling we would have put up a better fight. But, Marcus Smart, he's been a liability, in my opinion. He hasn't played that defense that he's normally playing. I mean, he was a -6. Horford was -21. Brown and Tatum -25 and -23 when they're on the floor, Charlie, in that last game. So, definitely Miami's taking it to them. Going to be very difficult. As much as I want to say the Celtics get one, it looks like the Heat are sweeping.
Las Vegas Golden Knights in Dallas tonight, holding a 2-0 lead in the series. Obviously, the Stars at home are favored tonight, but like Florida last night, went up 3-0 on Carolina, but Florida at home they won 2 games on the road. The Golden Knights win 2 games at home. Now they got to try to get one on the road. I'm seeing Dallas 145 tonight in the game against Las Vegas.
That's correct, Charlie. 145 at the Rampart and South Point and 5.5 total. And let me tell you, I'm seeing 150s at other properties. So you could see the Dallas money flashing. But the Golden Knights have been one of the best teams on the road, whether it's the regular season or the playoffs, Charlie. And keep in mind, right now, Aiden Hill is outplaying Jake Ottinger. You could see it, just unbelievable how Aiden Hill has stepped right in. The Golden Knights have rotated 5 goaltenders this year. And I have to say that Aiden Hill, during the regular season, he had the best goals against. He played great. Definitely he is the man moving forward. Mark Stone is starting to play an intricate part. You see how flashy Jack Eichel is. Dallas is doubling down on this guy and creating now other opportunities for players that, like Marchessault and Carlson that could put the puck in the net. So Robertson and the guys are going to have to step up tonight. I think they're definitely capable. Dallas is a different team at home. DeBoer doesn't want to get swept against his former team, but right now it's unbelievable. I'll tell you, Charlie, the Golden Knights look really good. They look poised to possibly play for the Stanley Cup. And, Florida's going to be there because, it's going to be so difficult to win 4 in a row. I don't care how good Carolina is. It is just massively difficult. Like you said, they won the 2 games on the road. And, the Golden Knights, it's different. They won the 2 games at the Fortress and now go on the road. So a key game tonight for the Golden Knights. I think they have an excellent chance just because of their road record and the goaltending play right now.
I know you're a huge horse racing enthusiast. I want to get your thoughts on the Preakness. When First Mission scratched on Saturday morning, it took a lot of the speed out of the race, and man, the fractions were just kind of glacial. I know if you're not a horse racing person, this is not going to mean anything to you, but the quarter in 23-9, the half in 48-9, it's 6 furlongs in a minute 13 is slow for a race of this caliber, and it really kind of gave the front runners the advantage, and Mage wanting to come from off the pace was not able to get there. I did think, though, and when National Treasure, won the race, I did think, though, Kaluch, that Javier Castellano had a chance to save some ground early in the race, that only 7 horses, there wasn't a lot of traffic. He could have got down very easily on the rail in the first quarter, didn't do it, and save a little bit of ground. What did you think of Castellano's ride?
I don't think it was bad at all. I think it was more that John Velasquez was leaving that open and actually then at any time could have dropped over and shut the door. So you have to keep that in mind. John Velasquez was controlling the race. It was not Javier Castellano. And, Irad also was positioning, and they were trying to pin him to the rail. But if you take that bait, National Treasure is only going to drop down anyway. So you have to definitely take that into consideration. It was John Velasquez who rode a masterful race there, Charlie, and he slowed it down. And you could tell the good handicappers, and we're not just saying that we're professionals for a reason. The odds on Mage reflected that the trip was going to be very difficult. Like you said, with the scratch, the pace becomes depleted. You even saw how Irad had to use Blazing Sevens a lot quicker and was in golden position. And, I think Irad might rethink that ride because he looked to create a little contact, to get motivated Blazing Sevens. But if he just stayed straight and laid off of John Velasquez, he might have went by. So the ride in question was probably Irad using the rough tactics and trying to, get the position and get his horse energetic, with the rail horse. But I think John Velasquez rode the masterful ride. That's where the great ride was. Javi did all he could. The horse looked like he could possibly go by, even at the 8th pole. But, he just didn't have it. It's a grueling test running those 2 weeks apart, especially after the great trip he navigated in the Kentucky Derby. So, I don't criticize Javi. He did all he can. Plus, the horse banged its head a couple of days prior to the race and had some stitches. So, credit for that training staff, keeping the horse energetic and able to run a good race. I mean, Mage didn't run a bad race considering pace and all those factors that we spoke about and the riding tactics of Velasquez. Keep in mind, Charlie, like I said, watch that replay. He left the door open on the rail, but could shut it at any time.
See, that's why I love having you on. I learned something today, and I am going to go back and watch it right now because I want to see exactly what you're talking about. Now that I think about it, yeah, he could have slid down. So good point on what happened with Mage and Castellano. Kaluch, you the best, man. We're looking forward to obviously having you on Thursday night, but we're moving Jimmy and I back together from the 11 to 1 slot here, and we can't wait to have you as a part of the new show live at lunch. So that's it for Hannytime, but we'll just cruise right on into the next thing next week, my friend.
Definitely, I'm there for you guys. Love you guys and the sport. And Hannytime has been, what an experience, Charlie. Love it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, Kaluch. We'll talk to you Thursday.
Definitely.
And we'll take a break. Here they are underway in the top of the first inning. First two batters for Texas A&M have made out. No score here early on. This is Hannytime, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hannytime.
Big Mike's in Denham Springs. You know, for your private parties, and we've done a number of them for graduation this month, but whatever it is, birthdays, anniversaries, just getting a group of friends together, before too much longer, there'll be fantasy football drafts. There's multiple size party rooms at Big Mike's and family friendly on them. So if you want to get together and have them cater it for you, both at Big Mike's or have off-site catering available for you as well, they can do that for you. Happy hour, 3 to 7, Monday through Friday, and all day on Sunday. So you want to make a nice afternoon on Sunday watching, whether it's baseball or basketball, the golf, the NASCAR. You can do it on 40 TVs at Big Mike's, home of the Denham Springs Hall of Fame, and right there off of Aspen Boulevard at Big Mike's. We're kind of a big deal.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Turn my music high, 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 yeah. You don't know what you're doing. Sure I do. I'm from the streets where the hood can swallow on me. Bullets will follow on me. There's so much that you could run the slalom. And cops comb this top to bottom. They say that we are prone to violence, but it's home sweet home, where personalities clash and chrome meets chrome. Prices up and down like this Wall Street.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Bayou Ford has $15,000 off plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on all new 22 Ford F-150 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory. All with Bayou's 1 million-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, Our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Musso. Join me Monday through Friday for your daily update on LSU baseball with Musso at the Box, presented by New Orleans Flooring. Wherever
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR. The SEC baseball tournament underway. We'll know LSU's opponents. We'll start to break down the matchups. Join us for Tuesday's AFR, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hannytime with Charles Hannegriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
On the bottom of the first inning, no score, A&M and Tennessee. Ask Hanny, do you like the ballpark in Hoover? I do like the ballpark. There was a time where I thought that this tournament would be better off moving around. The improvements that they've made to that facility to be able to broadcast everything on SEC Network, all the radio broadcasts, they've got to accommodate all the teams that have to practice in the vicinity. It's probably in the right spot. I don't care for the format for a couple of reasons. Number one, I don't think it helps your attendance when 80 of your teams are potentially only playing one game. And I really don't like it for the 4 teams that lose today that are going to the NCAA tournament that they have such a long layoff. I suspect that they will correct all of that when Oklahoma and Texas get in the league. Thanks to everybody for participating. Tomorrow we'll be on probably near the end of LSU and South Carolina. For Jacob and Mario, I'm Charles Hannegriff saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.